Welcome to the One Year Book of Mormon. A non-Mormon reads through the Book of Mormon. Mosiah 22, chapter overview. Ammon and King Limhi want to escape from bondage, so Gideon suggests getting the Lamanite guards drunk and sneaking out at night, which they do, and make their way back to Zarahemla, where King Mosiah welcomes them. The Lamanite army gives chase, but loses them after only 2 days. Verse 6 says, "Behold the back pass through the back wall on the back side of the city. The Lamanites, or the guards of the Lamanites, by night are drunken. Therefore let us send a proclamation among all this people, that they gather together their flocks and herds, that they may drive them into the wilderness by night." Hold on just a minute. There are flocks and herds in the city? Also, this says that the guards were surrounding the city at the city wall. But if they were, how did Ammon and his men get in without being noticed? And how did the expedition that found the gold plates get in and out? And why would they surround the city when the people of Limhi would need open space for their flocks and herds and fields to produce food? We aren't told how much time passes between the first suggestion and the actual carrying out of the plan, but it almost sounds like it all happens in one night, which is highly illogical that the entire city could get everything together in just a few hours. In verse 13, there is a slight discrepancy between the 1830 and modern Book of Mormon. The 1830 just says, "joined his people," with no antecedent, while the modern corrects that to say, "joined Mosiah's people." Finally, in verses 15 and 16, it says that the Lamanites sent an army after these people, but after 2 days couldn't follow their tracks and lost them in the wilderness. This makes no sense at all, because the group that left had flocks and herds and young children in it, and these people can't go fast. An army can make much better time because they're all relatively fit men who can go fast. Some could have even had horses, except that horses didn't exist in the Americas in this time period. Well, they could have had something, I suppose. The text says that the people left by night when the guards were drunk. We're not told how many guards there were, but the number of guards in the city must have been considered sufficient to quell any rebellion, which means these guards would have been sufficient to stop any escape. Another plot hole. So in the morning, the guards would have recognized that the city was empty and almost certainly would have sent a messenger or two back to the rest of the Lamanites to muster the army, while the bulk of the guards would have gone on pursuit, perhaps leaving a few guards in the now vacant city to tell the army from the Lamanites which way to go when they arrived. The people would have had a head start on the guards of only a few hours, so would have been quickly overtaken, because the people would have to travel slowly with their flocks and herds and children. Even if one might argue that the number of guards was somehow sufficient only to watch the city but not to stop a mass exodus, which is illogical because that's the only reason for the existence of the guard in the first place, to keep the people in submission and not let them leave, the guards would still have been able to pursue the people and keep them in sight and know where they were so that they could tell the army. Plus, I doubt that a mere 2 days would be sufficient to obscure all traces of their tracks, since we're talking about an entire city with flocks and herds that, shall we say, don't really care where they poop. Even if there were some great wind or rain that came through and obliterated footprints and hoofprints in 2 days, which is unlikely, flocks and herds would leave a trail of poop that would take some time to disintegrate and biodegrade, so would be easily followed.